Good afternoon, students. So, last time we have learned the digital footprint, data protection, intellectual property rights, free and the open source software, cyber law, phishing, etc. We also studied the cyber crime and the phishing. So, crime which happened on the internet are called as cyber crime, like the phishing, spy, hacking, create virus, illegal downloading, credit card fraud, etc. So today we will discuss about the cyber crime. So now come to the point once again. See the next slide. This one. So cyber crime we already studied. Any criminal offense that is facilitated by or the involve the use of or the electronic communication or the information system, including any electronic device, computer or the internet, is referred to as the cybercrime. So you have to remember the definition of the cybercrime. After that, the information theft. So in this session we have learned the phishing. So phishing is the fraudulent process to acquire or the attempting to get the user ID, password or the sensitive information from the user. Now the scam. So what are the scam? Any fraudulent business practice that extract money from an unsuspecting, ignorant person is called a scam. These days, the internet has become the another primary source of scam. Scam committed over the internet are called the online scam. So once again, you have to memorize the definition of this scam. Okay. So after that, there are so many examples are given here. So there is no need to read these things. Now the illegal download. So I think you understand what is the meaning of the illegal downloads. For example, if you want to download any video from the YouTube, so as you know that you cannot download any video from the YouTube, but if you use the some other software through which you can download these videos, this is called the illegal download, because the website is not giving the permission to you to download that video, but you are downloading these videos from the other software. Okay, so illegal download, it is also the crime. Now the child pornography, so this is also the crime. So Information Technology Act 2000 and the Indian Penal Code 1860 provide the protection from the child pornography. So child is a person who is below the age of the 18 years. Okay. uh, and you can read the other information. Now the computer forensics. So what is a computer forensics? Digital forensics or the computer forensics refer to the method used for the interpretation of the computer media or for the digital evidence. Okay, so you have to know what is the meaning of the computer forensics. So you have to memorize all the definition, because these definition can be asked in the coming examination. Then the cyber law and the IT Act. Okay, so in this regard, the Information Technology Act 2000 is the primary law in the India dealing with the cybercrime and the electronic commerce. Okay, So, cyber law is a generic term which refers to all the legal and the regulatory aspect of internet and the world wide web. Anything concerned with the related to or the emanating from any legal aspect or the issue concerning any activity of netizens. Just like the citizens, netizens is the word, means the peoples who know the internet and the others in the cyberspace comes within the ambit of the cyber law. The growth of the electronic commerce has propelled the need for the vibrant and the effective regulatory mechanism, which would further strengthen the legal infrastructure so the crucial to the success of the electronic commerce. All these regulatory mechanisms and the legal infrastructure come within the domain of the cyber law. After that, what is the law? Okay, so you see here the law. India's IT Act and the IT Amended Act 2008 means the Act was released in the year 2000, but the one amendment happened in the year 2008. Okay, so in India, the cyber law are imposed through the Information Technology Act 2000, clear, which was noticed on the 17th October 2000. It is the based on the United Nations Commission for the International Trade Related Law UNCITRAL model law. IT Act 2000 prime purpose was to provide the legal recognition to electronic commerce and to facilitate filing of the electronic record with the government, that is to provide the legal infrastructure for the e-commerce. The Act was later amended in the December 2008 through the IT Amendment Act 2008. It provided additional focus on the information security. It has added several new sections on the offences, including the cyber terrorism and the data protection. So data protection and that cyber terrorism is the key factors in the IT Act 2008 amendment. The Information Technology Amendment Act 2008 came into the force from the October 27, 2000 onward. Major amendment of the IT Acts include. So these are the amendment. Number one, the digital signature. So authentication of the electronic record by the digital signature get legal recognition. Second, the electronic governance. The e-documents get legal recognition. Document required as per the law by any arm of the government may be supplied in electronic form. Then the offences and the penalties. The maximum penalty for any damage to computers or the computer system is fine up to 1 crore. Then the amendment to the other law. The other related acts such as the Indian Penal Code 1860, the Indian Evidence Act 1872, the Bankers Book Evidence Act 1891, the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934 were to be amended to the align them with the IT Act. Okay, so I want to tell something important for you For example, in September 2012, a freelance cartoon as Asim Trivedi was arrested under the Section 66A of the IT Act Section 2, Prevention of the Insult of the National Honor Act 1971, and for the sedition under the Section 124 of the Indian Penal Code. His cartoon depicting widespread corruption in India were considered offensive. Okay, another case which is a very popular, 12th April 2012, a chemistry professor from the Jadavpur University, Ambikesh Mahapatra, the name of the person was the Ambikesh Mahapatra, was arrested for sharing a cartoon of the West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee and then the Railway Minister the Mukul Rai. The email was sent from the email address of the Housing Society. Subrata Sengupta, the secretary of the Housing Society, was also arrested. They were charged under the section of the IT Act for defamation of under the section 500 for the obscene gesture to a woman under section 509 and the abetting a crime under the section 114 of the Indian Penal Code. So there are so many examples are here on the website. You can see and watch. So many person got the penalty and the punishment on the basis of this act. Okay. Now the technology and the society. So ICT are the general purpose technology whose values and impact arise primarily from their use in the other economic and the social sector. Three capabilities are especially important for the economic and the social development. ICT enable greater efficiency in the economic and the social process, enhance the effectiveness of the cooperation between the different stakeholders, and increase the volume and the range of information available to people, business, and the government. So you have to read only these things. There is no need to remember these things because these things are the important, but these things are not in your syllabus. So I am again ignoring what are the economic impact and what are the social impact. So you can easily ignore these things. Now the economic benefit, you can also ignore these things. Now the e-waste is in your syllabus. So electronic waste, e-waste, e-scrap or the e-waste, electrical and the electronic equipment. WEEE, describe discarded electrical or the electronic devices. Electronic waste may also be defined as the discarded computers, office, electronic equipment, entertainment device, electronics, mobile phones, television sets, and refrigerator. This includes the use of the electronic. This includes used electronics which are destined for reuse, resale, salvage, recycling, or the disposal. of all the different types of the waste, electronic waste has the characteristics of A. The fastest growing segment of waste. Second, the most valuable due to its basic composition. Third, very hazardous, hazardous if not handled carefully. So e-waste disposal process. So e-waste is the categorized by the government of India under the board class of the hazardous waste within e-waste. There are the several categories such as the large and the small household appliances, electrical and the electronic toys and the sporting equipment, tools, computers and related equipment and so forth. Composition of e-waste, the electrical and the electronic equipment contain the metallic and the non-metallic elements, alloy and compounds such as the copper, aluminium, gold, silver, palladium, platinum, nickel, tin, lead, iron, sulfur, phosphorus, arsenic, etc. The e-waste management involves the proper recycling and the recovery of the disposal material. The recycle and discovery include the following unit operation: the dismantling. So this is a very important word, dismantling. So removal of the parts containing the dangerous substances CFC, chlorofluorocarbon, Hg, switches, PCB. PCB means the electronic circuit. The removal of the easily accessible part containing the valuable substances, cable containing the copper, steel, iron, and the precious metal containing parts. Segregation of the ferrous metal, non-ferrous metal, metal and the plastic. The separation is normally done in the shredder process. Then the refurbishment and the reuse. Refurbishment and the reuse of the e-waste has the potential for those used electrical and the electronic equipment which can be easily refurbished to put to its original use. Recycling, recovery of valuable materials. The ferrous metals in the electricals are the furnaces, non-ferrous metals in the smelting plant, precious metals in the separating words, then the treatment and disposal of the dangerous materials and the waste. Shredder light fraction is the disposal of is a landfill site or the sometimes the incinerated expensive chlorofluorocarbons CFC are treated thermally. Printed circuit board, that is called the PCB, is incinerated or the disposal of in the underground storage. Mercury is often recycled or the disposed of in the underground landfill site. Now the benefit of the e-waste recycles. First thing, so e-waste disposal and the proper recycling is very much necessary and important for the benefit of the people, environment and the nation. The key benefit are: the first thing, allows for recovery of the valuable precious metals. So most Consumer electronics contain the valuable material like the copper, gold, and zinc that should be recycled. Virgin materials are the significantly more costly than the recycled materials for the manufacturing. Second, protects public health and the water quality. E-waste contains a variety of the toxic substances which may include the lead, mercury and the cadmium. When e-waste is disposed into the landfill, these toxins can be released into the atmosphere or leak in through the land and have negative health and the environment effects. Third, that is a very important thing that is called the create job. Recycling e-waste uh, demonstrably create the job for the professional recyclers and the refabricators and the create new market for the valuable components that are dismantled. Toxic waste. So mining produces toxic waste which are linked with the crop devastation and human health crisis due to water contamination, sewage, landfill space. E-waste is the growing waste stream. Recycling these items will help conserve landfill space. Then the identity theft. So online identity theft is the theft of the personal information in order to commit frauds. So there are so many types of the fraud like the credit card fraud, change your personal information, phone or the utilities fraud, bank finance fraud, other frauds. So there are so many types of the frauds are happened and the protection against the identity theft. So there is no need to read these things. Biometric protection. Now the cyber bullying or the cyber harassment is a form of bullying or the harassment using the electronic means. Cyberbullying and the cyber harassment are also known as online bullying. So there are the three words: the cyberbullying or the cyber harassment or the online bullying. It has become increasingly common, especially among the teenagers, as the digital sphere of the expanded and the technology has advanced. Cyberbullying is when someone, typically a teenager, bullies or the harassment there on the internet and in other digital space. So particularly on the social media site, harmful bullying behavior can include the posting rumors, threats, sexual remark, a victim's personal information or the pejorative labels, hate speech. That is the hate speech, bullying or the harassment can be identified by the repeated behavior and the intent to harm. Victims of the cyberbullying may experience lower self-esteem, increased suicidal ideation, and the variety of the negative emotional responses, including being the scared, frustrated, angry, and the depressed. Awareness in the United States has risen in the 2010 due to the part of the high profile case. So you can read these matter and understand what is the meaning of the cyberbullying, cyber harassment and the online bullying. So only memorize what is a cyberbullying. So any definition can come in the examination, so you have to prepare it. Okay, now okay, see the my next slide. Winners don't do different things, they do things differently. Shivkada. Thank you very much.